Hello, welcome to Marie's Scrappy Creations, where we sew the scraps of your life into beautiful creations. Today's What's Up Wednesday, and I thought I would take some time to tell you guys about the things that I use the most in the sewing room. I've been asked, what do I need to have on hand to make your tutorials? What should I have? What should I buy? Now, I don't think anyone should run out and just buy a bunch of stuff. I don't. My channel is all about being scrappy and using what you have. Are there things I keep on hand? Absolutely. But I've also run out of things and had to substitute, okay? And I'm a big believer in thrifting. If you can go to the secondhand store and you can find something that works as well as what I'm using, go right ahead. Believe me, I've done it. It works great. So I'm not going to mess around with a big long intro. I'm just going to get at it. I'm going to show you the products, I guess, for lack of a better term, the items that I use the most in my sewing room, so you can expect that I will use them in upcoming tutorials. Okay, let's go take a look. So I'm going to start off by saying that I'm not going to list the things like scissors and rulers and sewing machines. We know all that stuff. We know that we need to have that. But what are some of the other products that I use? You've seen me use the Heat and Bond Light. I do use that a lot. We use it for applique, and I make a lot of things with Heat and Bond. So there's one thing I use. So while we're on the subject of Pellon, which is who makes the Insel braid, I'm going to say that one of the biggest items, or one of the most used items for me, is cotton batting. Just plain old cotton batting. I don't care for polyester batting. It can't hold the heat. It has to be quilted closer together. I prefer cotton. And that's not to say that you can't use polyester in some of the products, but overall, I like the cotton batting. I do a lot of quilting with it, like quilting as in sewing my layers together, whether it's a small makeup bag or a tote bag, grocery bag. I use a lot of cotton batting in my items. Along the same line as cotton batting, and this is not cotton, I realize that, is the Pellon Heavyweight Fusible Fleece 973. I use this a lot when I need a heavyweight, like say I'm going to make a bag and I want it to have a lot of form. This is my go-to. This is it. It makes a great purse. It makes a great tote bag. Then there's another Pellon product. And this is Fusible Fleece as well. It's just a little bit lighter weight than the one I just showed you, and it's Pellon 987. And they show placemats and quilted notebook covers and such. You can use it for a lot of different things. I also use, for a lightweight, I use the featherweight Pellon 911. And I also have on a bolt, because I didn't have the smaller package, is the mid to heavyweight. So this is the lightweight, and this is the mid to heavyweight Fusible 931. I have used other products before. I don't use this one very often, the Craft Fuse, but I have been known to use it before. It's very stiff. If you want something to really stand up and hold its shape, that's the one that I go to. And along the same lines as Pellon, even though it's really not, but it's on the bolt, so I'm going to show it to you right now, is my Stitch and Tear stabilizer. I guess it's not a stabilizer, it's a backing. So what I do with this is I put it behind something that I'm going to applique. when I made the name pillows, I used it behind there. I put it behind the letters or behind the fabric, and then I had the letters on top and I stitched around, and then you just tear this away. That's why it's called stitch and tear. It's used for embroidery. It just lets everything hold its shape while you're sewing. I use that quite a bit. So then we're going to go into the Polyfill, which I don't have any here, but that's just, I think over in England they call it wadding, but either way, it's like what you stuff a pillow with. That is something else I use. In a can, I use sizing. I use this a lot on fabrics, especially when I need my pieces to go together well. Like say I'm making a quilt block and I want all my seams to meet. I tend to spray my fabrics with this because it makes them hold their shape. They don't stretch as much out of shape while I'm ironing. So I iron that on. I use basting spray. This just happens to be the brand I have right now. There are many brands, and I'm not recommending any one over another. I'm sure they're all good. Zippers. I use a lot of zippers, and as a few of the ladies will tell you, I got some of the girls to try their first zipper or to try their first successful zipper. And because I waited so late in life to try my first zipper, I understand that struggle. But now that we've dipped our toes in the water, we're using a lot of zippers. I tend to buy the 20 to 22 inch because it's better to have them longer and not need them than have them be too short and need it longer. And a lot of the bags I make, they are much easier to make with the longer zipper, so that's what I do. You can get a pretty good deal online with those and get them rather cheap. Snaps. I use these on some of my bags. I might put a pocket and close it with a snap or whatever. And I don't even think I paid $20 for this. And it came with a lot of snaps, the tool, the awl, a screwdriver, everything you could need. I do have a set of the metal ones. I haven't taken the time yet to learn to use them. So right now I'm using the plastic. One thing I like with the plastic is the variety of colors that they have available. And I realize that the metal ones do have colors, but there's more choice with the plastic. Okay? We could not get by in a lot of what we make without a good walking foot. And these aren't expensive these days, and they come in handy. Walking foot is a huge help in a lot of situations. Something else that I use is this. I just think of it as a guide that it may well be what it's called. I really don't know. And if your walking foot has a hole in it, that's a good thing. Not all of them do. I have two that do not have that hole in there for the guide. And if you've never used this before, I'll just give a quick explanation. Is say you had a sewing line here and you wanted to stitch every 2 inches. You would measure from your sewing line that you've already sewn, and you would place that guide 2 inches from the center. So 2 inches from here to here. And then you would, as you're sewing, you would guide this along and keep it on your line. And that's how you do that. In fact, while we're right here, did you know that this foot, okay, this is not the foot. This is actually what the foot goes on. Let me grab one. Okay, so this is the part that goes on your sewing machine, okay? This part here. And do you see that right there? There's a black piece right here. That guide fits in there. I say that, now this one won't. This is not the guide that came with my machine. That's probably why. The guide that came with my machine fits in here so that I can do the same thing as I did with this. So you can check that out with your machine. That's another thing I use. Now, when I first started sewing zippers, I used this stuff. Matthew from Mr. Domestic was the one who told me about this. And he also gave me permission to use it without feeling bad. So what? So when I started, I had to use zipper tape. It's called Wonder Tape, depending on what brand you buy. And basically what you do is you take a piece and it's sticky on one side. You lay it down and you iron it. So if this were the edge of my zipper, I would place this down like this and I would iron it just really quickly across there. And then you peel off the top, which is a paper. You peel it back. That will hold your zipper or anything into place. I don't use it for zippers anymore unless they're in a very awkward place or at an angle that I can't seem to hold on to well. It comes in different widths. This was the 1/8 inch and this was the 1/4 inch. And I'm sure it comes in other widths as well. It's great stuff to use for zippers or most anything. I've used it just to hold fabric together as well. And the last items that I'm going to talk about are these sorts of things. Now these are, I use them occasionally. I don't use them every time, but these are magnetic clasps for like tote bags, purses, and such. And these are Lobster Clasps. Yeah. I bought these online. They weren't exactly what I wanted. I wanted it smaller here, but I have what I have and I will use it. These can come in very handy. So then I have assortments of D-rings, round key rings, all sorts of different things. Anything that you have, and you might find some of this stuff at your local thrift store. It's amazing what you can find. I didn't dig out my lace because I didn't want to have to get in the closet and take it out and then, you know, put it all back again. But I'm sure you guys know what lace looks like, and I've been known to use that and rickrack. These are like the magnetic clasps that I just showed you, and this is how they work. A friend of mine gave me this when she gifted me a clasp. So anyway, I wanted to show you guys that. So that's basically what's in here. So those are the items that I use the most. Oh, actually, you know what? I forgot something. And just like that, my phone was full. I couldn't record. Okay, so the very last thing, the things I forgot are those items I use to mark things. I like to mark my fabric. And I've shown these before, but in case you're new, they are a water erasable marker and an air erasable marker. This is a Hera marker. And it doesn't leave any mark as far as anything you have to wipe off. It makes a line, I don't know if you can see that, in the fabric. And then it will iron away. It will move away when you're done. And our creative word of the day today is going to be marker. So if you're new to my channel and you don't know what the creative word of the day means, that just means that on Wednesdays and Sundays, I give a creative word of the day. If you use it in the comments section below the video, your name goes in a drawing, and the first Wednesday of every month, I draw a name, and that person gets something handmade by me sent to them right at their mailbox. So that's going to do it for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm going to leave a link to everything that I can below. If I can't find something, you know, there's that. Just because I leave a link to a certain place does not mean that you can't find it at a different, you know, store, website, whatever. I'm just going to give you where I got it from. Okay, so until next time you dig into that scrap pile, let's use up what you have on hand to make something beautiful and useful. You know you want to sew. You take care, be kind. We need more of that out there. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.